We are just hours away from the first AEW Dynamite of 2022, and the big question on my mind is this show just going to suck as much as the rest of them did in 2021? Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling. A wee bit tired, but we're going to power through this preview anyway, and we're going to talk about all the action that's expected to take place here tonight. Pretty stacked card, to be honest. It looks like this could pass. I don't know if I could pass the pay-per-view card, but either way, it does look pretty good. It looks stronger than recent weeks as well. So, I mean, last week's card was very poor. I noticed tonight they haven't got all these multi-man matches like last week. You had 2 6-man tag matches, just absolute filler matches to try and get as many people on the show, as many people that are on the roster to get them as much TV time as possible tonight. You don't have that. You've got more matches that are taken serious. You've got a bunch of title matches. You've got the AEW Championship on the line. You've got the AEW Tag Team Championships on the line. You've got the first ever AEW TBS champion to be crowned now. I've no idea what TBS stands for, but there's 2 women involved, so I'm going to assume that it's a secondary women's title, which I do not think AEW need. Their women's roster's terrible. Why you would need to add the addition of a second women's title makes absolutely no sense, but that's what they've decided to do. But then again, that's me assuming that the TBS title is a women's championship. I don't know what it is. I didn't hear the announcement when the tournament was made, and even calling it a tournament seems that's like using the word tournament loosely, because I think there was only 4 people in it. Certainly, to me, a tournament has to be at least 8. You have to start in at least the quarterfinals. Just to start in a semi-final, it just doesn't make much sense. Anyway, that will be between Jade Gargle and Ruby Soho, and it will be interesting to discuss that, because last week with Big Swole, had a lot of people crying racism, a lot of people calling Tony Khan a racist, a lot of clueless people commenting on these feds. Because I defended Tony Khan. It's ridiculous to suggest that Tony Khan's a racist just because a black person hasn't held a singles title in AEW. The fact is, they're just not good enough, right? There's nobody good enough. There's no black person good enough on AEW to be world champion at the moment. There's just not. You cannot justify making Scorpio Sky AEW World Champion when you've got like Jericho and Sting and CM Punk now, people like that on the roster. It just doesn't make any sense. It wouldn't happen. As much as I don't like him, someone like Moxley coming in for WWE, decent sized name, you ain't going to put Scorpio Sky as world champion when you can have John Moxley as the world champion. That's just not going to happen. Kenny Omega, I don't like the guy, but he's mega popular, big in Japan. All the marks love him. Who are you going to have as champion, Kenny Omega or Scorpio Sky? And this ain't me burying Scorpio Sky, I'm just using this guy as an example. Is Scorpio Sky good enough to hold the AEW champion when there's all these other people that are well ahead of him in the pecking order? Absolutely not. So it's just stupid to suggest that Tony Khan is racist. It'd be like saying Vince McMahon's racist. Vince McMahon is xenophobic or whatever to English people because an Englishman hasn't held the world championship in WWE. Well, maybe it's because the Englishmen that were good enough were in an era where there was just better talent than them, and then the Englishmen that came after that just weren't good enough to win the belt. Wade Barrett unfortunately just wasn't that good. That's why he didn't win the title. It's got nothing to do with Vince McMahon hating English people, just like the black people in AEW has absolutely nothing to do with Tony Khan being racist. So I want to get that over and done with. That's mad. You talk about racism and all of a sudden you wake up, man. You can feel the fucking Hogan comeback coming on here. Maybe Hogan's not the best person to bring up when you're talking about race. Anyway, we'll move on. MJF is in action. Don't know who he's going to be against. Will CM Punk be there? A shitload of these people weren't here last week. I don't think MJF was on the show. BRYAN and Adam Page weren't on it either, so it's be interesting to see. Hopefully they've got a full roster back tonight. We've got Malachi Black taking on Brian Pillman Jr. Brian Pillman Jr. winning the award last week for being the dumbest bastard around. He came in, made the save on his tag partner. He pushed Malachi Black off his tag partner, and then he turned his back to Malachi Black to check on his tag team partners. Surely, with the reputation that Black has been building up, he's not a guy that you would turn your back on. So why Brian Pillman done that? Obviously to leave himself open to an attack. It's just retardation, really. And how he's supposed to take the guy serious when he's that fucking stupid. So yeah, let's go through the card then. Main match of the, or we'll go. Actually, no, we'll start from the lower. I'm going to assume this is the first match. We'll start from what I put down as a low priority, and then obviously we'll save the world title match to the end. So first up, Malachi Black versus Brian Pillman Jr. Malachi Black will win this. It won't really advance anything. Brian Pillman Jr. was an idiot last week. I can't imagine him growing 10 million brain cells this week and coming out on top. Malachi Black will pick up the win. MJF in action. Who's he against? We don't know. Safe to say he'll win though, unless CM Punk maybe interferes and he costs MJF a match. Like, I guess that could happen, but I'm going to assume whoever MJF is in action against, he will pick up the win. Who could it be? Maybe it could be Darby Allin. I guess it could be Orange Cassidy. I don't know. I don't know who's really involved in what feuds in AEW. It pains me to watch it. I don't want to watch it. So yeah, hopefully it's against someone decent. To crown the first ever AEW TBS champion, we've got Jade Cargill versus Ruby Soho next week. Now, I did say last week when I was talking about Big Swole, I did say I think Jade Cargill will be AEW Women's Champion. It's just a matter of time. Now, I wasn't aware that they actually had the secondary women's belt coming, but I think it's safe to assume that Jade Cargill will win tonight. I think she'll defeat Ruby Soho, and then Tony Khan is going to have a black champion, and then we'll see what all these these white haters are saying. They'll probably change it as soon as Jade Cargill becomes a champion. They'll say, well, that's just a minor belt. He doesn't push any black people as world champion or the AEW women's champion. I mean, you can't win. Honestly, you can't. I mean, Booker T wins the World Heavyweight Championship, and all people can come out and say is, well, it wasn't the WWE Championship. Like, I mean, fuck off, right? He won the world title on SmackDown. It is what it is. It's the same title that Undertaker held, Edge held, Batista held. So if it's good enough for those guys, right, I think it's good enough for Booker T. I'm going to go with Jade Cargill to win this. I mean, look at the size here. She looks like a physical. Her presence alone, you know what I mean? I think she should go for Ruby. Ruby Soho sucks. I mean, people can say what they want. She sucks. No character, no nothing. I mean, as a wrestler, she's not bad. But when that's all you've got in your locker, when you open your locker and the only thing you've got sitting in there is the fact that you're an okay wrestler, that ain't getting you anywhere in the professional wrestling business. AEW World Tag Team Championships on the line. We've got the Lucha Brothers versus Jurassic Express. I want Jurassic Express to win this, just for the simple fact I like their entrance. Their entrance theme's pretty catchy. You know, especially when Taz was doing it, you know, that's when it was his absolute best. So yeah, I'm all for Jurassic Express winning this. And I don't know, I just kind of like the team, you know, at least they've got a gimmick. They look different than all these other teams, and they work a different style. You've got a big guy and a small guy, and it's, to me, Lucha Bros, the Bucks, they all work the same shit match, man. You know, it's all flip fest. At least I think with the Jurassic Express, they offer something different. So I'm hoping they win the belts tonight. But my pick is who's going to win is probably the Lucha Bros. I think they will retain their title. But I want Jurassic Express to win. And in the AEW Championship match, Hangman Adam Page defending the belt against BRYAN Danielson. The question's got to be asked. What are they doing? Why are they giving away another world title match free on TV? Last time they gave away a full 60-man Iron match. There wasn't even a run-in or nothing. A full 60-man Iron Man match on free TV. Do you remember HBK versus Bret Hart Iron Man match first ever being on TV? Because I don't. The Rock versus Triple H at Backlash or Judgment Day, whatever pay-per-view it was. Do you remember that being on TV? I don't. I mean, the only Iron Man match with any significance, and I don't mean just a random Iron Man match that they put on the show to fill up time. The only Iron Man match I can think of with any real significance that was ever put on TV, I think there was two. There was like Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle on SmackDown, and there was the Cena HBK one. I think it was in England on Raw, and it was more like a WrestleMania rematch. So that's the only reason that was there. I mean, very, very rare do you get those kind of matches on TV. But here, AEW, I guess they know what they're doing. Who's going to win tonight? I don't think Adam Page is world champion material. But do I think they'll take the belt off him? Actually, I think they might. You know what? I don't think his run's been good at all. I wouldn't be surprised if Bryan Danielson wins. It's a new year. They might just go for the fresh start. They might put the belt on Bryan Danielson. For me, I'm actually going to say Bryan Danielson wins tonight. That's my prediction, guys. I'm going to go with Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan, whatever you want to call him. You know, the wee fucking fat guy from from WWE. I've actually looked at the roster here, the AEW roster. They're all like skinny fat guys. Apart from Eddie Kingston, he's just fat. But most of the roster, they're all like these skinny midget men, but there's no tone to their body. They're skinny but flabby at the same time. It's like, what the fuck? Is AEW not got any weights backstage these people can lift? Or, I don't know, do some crunchies or something, man. I think maybe Eddie Kingston ate all the crunchies, and that's why they can't do any. Anyway, guys, that's my predictions. I'll go through them again. I'm going with Bryan Danielson, the Lucha Bros, but I want Jurassic Express to win that, but I'm going to point out I do think Lucha Bros will retain. Jade Cargill will win the TBS champion, whatever that is. MJF will beat whoever he's facing, and Malachi Black will pick up a win. Anyway, guys, that is it. Will we get more Dan Lambert on the show? I hope so. I thought his promo with Brandy was pretty good, even though I feel like she ruined it, but you know, it's still alright. Like, she's not bad. Anyway, there you go. That's it. I was gonna quote what she said, but I better not in case I get people attack me, man. I guess I'll let Brandy Rhodes. I'll leave those words to Brandy Rhodes. Anyway, guys, that's it. AEW review will be out either later on tonight or tomorrow. Depends if I can stay up for another 4 hours to watch the show. The way I'm feeling right now, probably not. Anyway, that's it, guys. Till next time. Thanks for watching and peace.